Hey, welcome to today's live. I'm super excited about today's topic. Have you been seeing lots and lots and lots of stories in your Facebook? We're going to talk about the top tips on how to use the story feature on social media to get more customers and to build your business bigger. So that's what we're talking about today. Stories has eluded me for a while. When it first came out, I was kind of like, I don't know about the story thing, right? Because it is bite-sized content. We're going to talk about the top tips on using it today, but comment in who you are, where you're coming in from. I'd love to give you a shout out. And for those of you that are meeting for the first time, my name is Brandy Shaver, and what I do is help entrepreneurs, business owners, help them get more customers and team members using social media. So I'm excited about today's topic. So I actually dove into a little training for myself these last few weeks, learning a lot about stories, and I wanted to share them with you. I've been using them. If you've been using stories, drop me a number one down below. Let's do number one down below. Drop me a number one. Let me know if you've been using stories. If you haven't been using stories and you're still wondering what to do, how to do it, drop me a number two, because I would really like to just see kind of where people are. But the average person watches 2.5 seconds of a story to see if they're interested. So you have 2.5 seconds to hook somebody into your story, okay? And I'm going to give you some top tips on how to do that and what to do. If you don't know, stories are on the, when you just open your app. So I'm just going to pull mine up so you can see. I should have shared my screen, but you can see right here, you'll have stories. So you'll see your regular story and your page story. So if you have both on your thing, but the stories are the top thing. And the reason the stories are the top thing is because Facebook is moving to more stories. The actual news feed is getting less and less. And so stories is kind of what's next. So you have 2.5 seconds. So how does that make you feel? You have 2.5 seconds to snap somebody into your story to keep them interested. If it takes 2.5 seconds, more than 2.5 seconds for people to understand what your story is about, you are going to lose them. So you want to make sure that you are using stories and leaning into stories. However, you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Okay. So number one, lean into stories. You can learn more about stories by just going to Facebook, even searching it out on Google or whatever, or like watching one of these videos, right? There's lots of ways to learn about stories. The best way to learn about stories is to actually use them. Okay. So lean into stories. Number two is get intentional. A lot of people are just snapping what they're doing, right? It's kind of like if you've been on Snapchat, it's just snapping and like people are getting a back end look at what you're doing. But if you're going to build your business using stories on Facebook, get intentional about what you're using them for. Okay. So remember, when you go to build a story, you want to have in mind, who is this for and what am I trying to communicate? And I still love to use the 4 ways to provide value. So lifestyle, inspiration, education, and motivation. These are still the 4 things that you're going to use inside of your stories to connect with other human beings, to sell more products, and to get more team members. All right. It's still using value. It's just snippets. It's going to be bite-sized content. Number 3, if you have to use punctuation, you failed. What can somebody read in 2.5 seconds? Okay. That's what you're looking for. If you have to use punctuation, if you have to use, a big, long, whatever, people cannot read the story fast enough. So you want to keep it short, sweet, no punctuation, just quick snippets of content. All right. Number 4 is interactivity with video. All right. So there's a bunch of stickers and GIFs and all kinds of things. If you go into creating a story, and all you do, guys, here's the number one thing that I find from people is that we are terrified of putting something out on social media that does not look perfect. Did you know you can erase it, right? You can actually delete it. So the best thing to do is to snap a picture. So let's just snap a picture of the live so I can show you how to do this in real time. So I snapped a picture. Okay. So then right up here in the corner, there are some options. All right. And you want to click on the stickers. Now inside the stickers, or you can swipe up actually. Let's see if we can get that to, so pull up something like this. If you can see that. What you're going to want to do is you can click on GIFs, and there's a lot of interactivity in here. You can also do polls. You can do things like that. But when you like click on a heart, for instance, inside of the stickers, the heart will spread out. Okay. So people, that's what they're looking for on stories, is interactivity inside of your videos. So use the options inside of your stories. All right. Hearts to click on, polls. People can reply with a GIF or whatever, right? Get people to interact with your stories. Now, number 5, if you want people to interact with your stories, you might want to be interacting with their stories. That's actually how it works. Okay. The cool thing about stories is that it instantly goes into your messenger, the interactivity, and that connects you on a deeper level inside of the algorithm with Facebook. Okay. So if you can get interacting with other people's stories, they're going to start seeing your stories. It's the same thing that we've been, talking about for months and years, it seems like now, is getting that engagement and interacting with human beings, being a human. Okay. Interact with people on your stories, but here's a caveat to that. Here is a warning. Don't just interact with your team. Okay. It's creating, when you are just interacting with your team that you're building, it's creating kind of a pool of people that is just your team, and no one outside of that team is seeing those. Okay. So get outside prospects seeing your stuff. Interact with outside prospects, not just your team that you already have. Okay. Number 6, remember that most people watch stories without the sound on. And if you're watching stories without the sound on, drop me a number 3, because I would really love to see. If you are watching stories with the sound on, drop me a number 4. I just want to kind of show you guys how many people are actually watching them without the sound on. So if you're doing a video, on Facebook or on the stories, we need to have a turn your sound on, or, whatever. People are not watching it with the sound on because we're out and about. And usually when we're bored in meetings or whatever, right? And we are looking at stories. So if you guys are getting value from today's live, let me know, because I love to share stuff like this. Now on number 7, when you tap right on the story, when you click on the story, so like, let me just show you so you can see, maybe if it will see my face. So when you get in here to Facebook, and I'm not going to save our story that we were building, but when you get in here to Facebook, on the story piece, so right here on the story piece, when you click on these people, see, like all these people are stories. Like when I click on it, when I click on the right of this, when I click on the right of this, it turns the story. Okay. It's actually telling Facebook that I don't want to see it anymore. Okay. So don't put anything on the right of the screen that they have to click on. It actually tells Facebook that I don't want to see this anymore. Okay. So on your stories, don't put anything on the right of the screen where it goes to fast forward. Okay. That's what clicking on the right is, fast forwarding. Number 8, don't share your posts that you build on Facebook, like your newsfeed posts, to the story. If you do it very rarely. And also don't take your Instagram story and post it over on Facebook. It's a totally different platform. Okay. Totally different platform. So you want to get to know the platform and respect the platforms and what they're actually looking for. All right. So I am going to, if you want to learn more on how to get prospects coming to you using social media, I'm going to drop a link down below where you can get that information. It is a video series that is phenomenal. It's actually going to teach you how to become the hunted and not the hunter. So I'll drop that down below. But if you got value from today, let me know. If you want to share this with someone, if someone needs to know about stories, go ahead. That's awesome too. I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk.